There is a power within you so vast, so intelligent, so precise in its ability to shape destiny, that if you were to harness even a fraction of it with unwavering discipline, the world would no longer remain a mystery to you. It would become your servant. And yet most men drift, like leaves in the wind, because they have never been taught to command this invisible force. They speak of success as a matter of luck, or timing, or inheritance, when in truth it has always been and will always be a matter of mastery over the self. We begin here, not with fantasies, not with slogans, but with truth. You are not defeated by external conditions, you are defeated by your internal response to them. You are not poor because the world has denied you. You are poor because your mind has permitted it. The true battlefield is not in the market or the government or the economy. It is in the 6 inches between your ears. Until a man learns to govern his emotions, his impulses, his need to react, he will forever remain a slave to circumstance, and no slave builds an empire. The first and most fundamental principle upon which all wealth rests is this: you must detach yourself emotionally from the noise of the world so that you may hear the whisper of your own intelligence. Emotional reactivity is the great thief. It robs men of their judgment, clouds their reason, blinds their intuition, and so the man who masters detachment, not as apathy, but as awareness, rises above the mob and enters the realm of kings. Understand this law. If you allow your emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power, but if you command your thoughts, you command your future. There is no exception to this rule. No matter how brilliant, how connected, how educated a man may be, if he is emotionally chaotic, he will sabotage his own ascent. The universe bends to calm minds. It yields to clarity. It responds to focused thought, not frantic motion. And so the first step to unlocking the power within is the mastery of emotional neutrality. What do I mean by this? I mean the trained capacity to observe life without immediate reaction, to witness insult, praise, chaos, or uncertainty without surrendering your internal composure. It is the power to pause before you respond, to weigh, to consider, to decide, rather than to flinch and explode like a puppet on strings. Most people react, they do not respond. Their buttons are pushed and they obey, they lash out, they complain, they retreat, but the man who has trained his mind pauses, he breathes, he evaluates, and then he acts with precision. This is the discipline of neutrality, not indifference, but command. To cultivate this, begin today to observe your thoughts like a scientist. Do not identify with every flicker of irritation, every spark of jealousy, every rush of excitement. These are winds blowing through the house of your mind. Let them pass. Do not chase them. Do not speak from them. Only act from thought clarified by stillness. A calm mind is not a weak mind, it is a weapon. An emotional detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is the refusal to allow temporary emotions to sabotage permanent success. The second step is the development of mental discipline. Discipline is the architect of destiny. Without it, talent is wasted, potential is squandered, and dreams dissolve into memory. You do not need more motivation. You need structure. You need inner law. Mental discipline begins with a decision that your life will be governed not by preference but by principle, that you will rise whether you feel like it or not, that you will think when others panic and act when others freeze, that you will train your attention like a soldier trains his body daily, deliberately, without excuse. And how do you build this discipline? By building habits that no longer ask for permission from emotion, by rising at the hour you choose, not the hour you feel, by studying when you'd rather scroll, by persisting when others retreat. Each act of discipline is a vote cast for the future you desire, and eventually the votes become a landslide. A wealthy man is not one who simply earns money. A wealthy man is one who has trained his mind to be obedient to his will. He sets goals, and his mind follows. He builds structure, and his emotions comply. He does not negotiate with his excuses. He dominates them. You must become the kind of person who does not wait to feel right before acting right. Do the work first, and the feeling will follow. Too many people sit idly, waiting for inspiration to strike. But inspiration belongs to those who act, not those who hope. Discipline is the bridge between what you desire and what you possess. The third step is autosuggestion, the art of commanding your subconscious mind through repeated intentional thought. The mind is a fertile garden. Whatever you plant there, it will grow. If you allow weeds of doubt, fear, envy, and defeat to take root, they will choke the life from your potential. But if you deliberately sow thoughts of wealth, power, confidence, and clarity, you will harvest success in due time. You must speak to yourself not in vague hopes, but in clear, commanding affirmations. Not "I wish I were strong," but "I am strong, disciplined, and directed." Not "I hope I succeed," but "I move toward my goal with unstoppable certainty." The subconscious does not differentiate between truth and repetition. Whatever you say to it with emotion, it accepts as reality. And so you must become the author of your inner dialogue. You must overwrite the weak patterns you inherited from your environment. You must declare yourself anew each day, each hour, if necessary. Stand before the mirror and tell your mind who is in charge. Say it until the voice of doubt has no room to speak. Thoughts are not harmless. They are blueprints. They are plans. They are commands to the invisible machinery of your destiny. And so you must become ruthless in your mental programming. Feed your mind only what you wish to manifest. Guard it from poison as you would guard your life. The fourth step is definiteness of purpose. Nothing creates inner power like a clearly defined aim. A mind without a chief aim is like a ship without a captain. It may drift, it may move, but it will never arrive. But the man who knows precisely what he wants becomes a magnet for the means to achieve it. Decide what you want, not vaguely, not generally, not someday. Decide today with full force what your life is about. Say it aloud, write it down. Let it burn in your mind like fire. Because until you decide, the universe cannot conspire with you. Until you declare your aim, the opportunities you seek remain hidden. But once you know, truly know what you want, the world reshapes itself to reveal the path. Definiteness of purpose gives power to your thoughts. It organizes your energy. It eliminates distraction. When you know your aim, you no longer chase 10 things, you pursue one. And that one thing, pursued with all your might, yields more than 1,000 half-hearted efforts. Purpose breeds persistence. Purpose kills fear. Purpose turns suffering into fuel. With a strong enough why, you can endure any how. This is not mere philosophy, it is physics of the spirit. The fifth step is mastery over reaction. Every great failure can be traced back to a moment when a man reacted rather than responded. He lashed out in anger, he retreated in fear, he panicked in uncertainty, and in that moment he handed over his power. Reaction is slavery, response is sovereignty. You must develop the ability to pause. In that pause is your power. In that pause you choose. You measure the situation. You weigh your options. You select your response with intention, not compulsion. This is the essence of mastery. Train yourself not to be disturbed. Let others rant. Let them insult. Let them doubt you. Remain composed. Smile if you must. Speak softly when others shout. The man who cannot be provoked is a man who cannot be controlled. Emotions are powerful servants but disastrous masters. Use them to move you when appropriate, but never let them move you off your path. The world belongs to those who can remain calm under pressure, who can think clearly when others drown in chaos. Cultivate this power, and nothing shall shake you. The sixth step is accurate thinking. Most people do not think. They feel, they react, they guess, but they do not think. And because they do not think, they are easily swayed. They believe falsehoods. They follow trends. They make decisions based on emotion, not evidence. And then they wonder why their life feels like sand slipping through their fingers. But the man who thinks clearly, who separates fact from opinion, who checks his premises, who demands logic, becomes immune to confusion. He does not follow the crowd. He does not believe every voice that speaks with volume. He considers, investigates, and concludes for himself. This is true power. You must train your mind to demand evidence, to question assumptions, to examine beliefs, and most importantly, to question your own thoughts. Do not believe everything you think. Subject your own mind to scrutiny. Let truth, not comfort, be your compass. When you think accurately, you navigate the world with precision. You make better decisions. You avoid foolish risks. You seize real opportunities. Accurate thought is the compass that keeps the ship of your life on course. And finally, the seventh step, the crown of all mastery, is personal initiative. You must act, you must move. You must refuse to wait for permission, approval, or perfect timing. Success belongs to the man who initiates, who begins before he feels ready, who adapts as he goes, who learns by doing. Do not wait to be discovered. Discover yourself. Do not wait for signs. Be the sign. Do not wait for a savior. Save your own soul through disciplined action. The man who acts from within, who moves before he is moved by others, who sets his own clock and keeps his own counsel. This is the man who cannot be stopped. You must understand this. Life does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who walk forward with fire in their spine and conviction in their chest. The passive man is forgotten. The hesitant man is trampled. The cautious man is replaced. But the man of initiative, the man who moves with quiet certainty and unwavering direction, is obeyed, followed, and remembered. Initiative is the spark of creation. Nothing begins without it. All riches, all power, all influence arise first from a man who dared to say, "I will," before the world gave him a reason. And it is not enough to have one burst of energy. Initiative must become your nature. Daily, relentless, uncompromising. If you wait for motivation, you are already defeated. If you need applause to begin, you are already enslaved. Act because it is your duty. Act because your vision demands it. Act because your conscience will not permit anything less. And if no one believes in you, good. Let that be the fuel that sharpens your mind and tests your resolve. You must come to love the sound of your own footsteps in the dark, when no one is watching, when the rewards have not yet arrived. You must learn to lead yourself when there is no crowd, no fanfare, no external fire. That is where kings are born, in silence, in solitude, in the daily discipline of rising without reward. And do not make the error of confusing motion with progress. Many are busy, but few are advancing. Personal initiative is not frantic activity. It is precise action, thoughtful action. Strategic movement aligned with a definite aim. You do not need to be everywhere. You need to be exact. One deliberate step in the right direction is worth more than 100 anxious stumbles. What separates the elite from the average is not talent, nor education, nor environment. It is the consistent decision to take full command of the inner world, to live by law, not by mood, to command thought, not to be commanded by it, to rise by principle, not to fall by emotion. And let us now revisit the bedrock that supports all these steps: self-command, that ancient and eternal quality which turns a common man into a master of fate. You must be a governor of yourself. You must sit upon the throne of your own mind, because if you do not, another will. And no man can serve two masters, not even you. There are those who speak of freedom, but live as prisoners to their impulses. They speak of ambition, but are seduced by every distraction. They dream of greatness, but cannot sit in silence for 5 minutes without reaching for comfort. That is not power. That is bondage. Power is restraint. Power is the ability to say no to yourself with authority. Power is the silent voice that whispers, "Stay the course," when your body begs to quit. You will not find peace by chasing comfort. You will not find wealth by avoiding risk. You will not find meaning by pleasing others. You will find it only when you confront yourself, your weaknesses, your fears, your vanities, and subject them to the light of your higher will. Do not deceive yourself with self-pity. It is the poison of potential. Every excuse you make, every justification you offer, is a nail in the coffin of your greatness. You were not born to whimper. You were not designed to drift. You were forged, yes, forged for excellence. And the furnace of that forging is pain, challenge, delay, discipline. Do not pray for easier days. Pray for stronger resolve, because in truth, success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who prepare. And preparation is the work of the unseen hours, the early mornings, the quiet nights, the moments of doubt when you continue anyway. Those are the bricks of destiny. Let us speak plainly now. If you cannot command your morning, you cannot command your life. The way you rise will dictate the altitude you reach. Begin your day with direction, with purpose, with silence and focus. Do not rush into the noise. Do not be the first to check your phone, to chase headlines, to consume the chaos of the world. Be the master of your domain. The temple of your mind must be swept and ordered before the day begins. The man who owns his morning owns his destiny. Set a time. Wake without negotiation. Move your body. Command your mind. Repeat your purpose. Visualize your victories. Declare your discipline. Do not ask for ease. Ask for alignment. Let your morning become your training ground. This is how you separate yourself from the masses. This is how you move from desire to domination. There is a law written across the ages that few dare to follow, that the inner world precedes the outer, that the invisible governs the visible, that the mind shapes the matter. And so the man who shapes his thoughts daily, who chisels his beliefs, who purifies his motives, will see the world reshape itself in accordance with that inner vision. This is not magic. This is principle. This is the fundamental truth upon which all transformation rests. Your thoughts are not passive. They are creative. Every thought carries a vibration. Every belief emits a signal. Every intention radiates into the field of possibility. You are broadcasting who you are every moment of your existence, and the universe, impartial and exact, responds not to your words but to your frequency. You cannot lie to the universe. You cannot fake wealth with empty affirmations while thinking like a beggar. You cannot chant success while fearing failure. You cannot pretend to be powerful while shrinking from responsibility. The law sees through all deception. It delivers not what you want, but what you are. Therefore, change who you are at the level of thought, at the level of feeling, at the level of identity, and do so not once but daily, relentlessly, until you no longer remember the man you used to be. Detach, discipline, direct. These are not suggestions. They are necessities. Detach from the emotional chaos of the world, from the opinions of the weak, from the need to be liked, from the fear of rejection, from the pain of the past. Detach not to escape, but to elevate, to rise above the noise, so that you may hear your true command. Discipline your thoughts, your habits, your time, your language. Let your words reflect intention. Let your schedule reflect purpose. Let your habits reflect your future, not your feelings. Discipline is the hand that sculpts the statue of your destiny. And then direct. Direct your mind toward vision. Direct your energy toward excellence. Direct your life toward your highest aim. Let every act, every thought, every breath move you one step closer to mastery. This is the path. It is not glamorous, it is not popular, it will not be applauded in the beginning. But it is the only path that leads to power that cannot be taken, to wealth that cannot be stolen, to peace that cannot be shaken. Do not sell yourself for scraps. Do not cheapen your soul for comfort. Do not trade your birthright of greatness for the fleeting approval of the masses. Rise. Rise in silence. Rise with discipline. Rise with thought. And rise with the unshakable knowing that the mind you command is the life you create. The world will try to distract you. It will beg for your attention, your emotion, your allegiance, but you must remain still within the storm. You must remember who you are and what you have decided to become. Every day is a test. Every moment is a mirror. Every choice is a chisel. So carve, with strength, with patience, with fire. Let your mind become a sanctuary of sovereignty. Let your emotions serve your mission, not sabotage it. Let your days be ruled by will, not whim. Because in the end, the man who masters himself masters all. There is a silence inside the strongest man, a silence born not of emptiness, but of order, a silence that comes only after the storm of the lower mind has been subdued. And it is in that silence that the great decisions are made, not in haste, not in noise, not in desperation, but in the sacred solitude where truth reigns. You must become familiar with this silence. You must welcome it like a friend, because it is here that you will come face to face with yourself, not the mask you show the world, not the costume of politeness or ambition, but the real you. And it is in this confrontation that power begins. Do not run from your weaknesses. Turn toward them, study them, understand them. A man who is unaware of his flaws is a man doomed to repeat them. But the man who sees them clearly, who looks them in the eye without flinching, has already begun to master them. You cannot fix what you do not face. Ask yourself, what have I allowed to control me? Whose voice echoes in my mind, still dictating what I can or cannot do? What habits have I bowed to? What lies have I swallowed about my worth, my capacity, my destiny? Do not seek comfort in answers. Seek liberation in honesty. It is not pleasant to admit where you have failed, but it is necessary. Because until you accept full ownership of your mind, your time, your energy, your beliefs, you will be governed by forces you pretend you do not see. Freedom begins with radical responsibility. You must say, everything in my life that I do not like, I have allowed, and everything I desire, I will now claim by force of thought, by precision of action, by immovable commitment. There is no room here for whining. There is no space for complaint. There is no reward for victimhood. The man who plays helpless invites slavery, but the man who takes ownership invites power. Choose. You are not a leaf on the wind. You are not a statistic. You are not a child begging fate for favor. You are a creator, a thinker, a builder. But only if you rise to that truth and reject the seduction of weakness. All wealth begins in the mind. And not just any mind, a disciplined, purified, focused mind. A mind that has been trained like a sword. A mind that no longer obeys fear or vanity or distraction. A mind that wakes each morning with fire and sleeps each night with peace. If you wish to attract massive wealth, do not chase money. Chase the internal order that makes wealth inevitable. Wealth is a consequence. Wealth is an echo. Wealth is the shadow of a man who has mastered himself. To attract wealth, you must become wealthy in thought. You must carry yourself with inner dignity long before the world recognizes you. You must act with precision even when the reward has not arrived. You must invest in yourself with the same seriousness that kings build empires. And you must not speak like the poor. I do not mean the financially poor, I mean the mentally impoverished. The man who gossips, who blames, who envies, who justifies his laziness with clever words. This is poverty of soul, and no amount of money can heal that disease. Train your language to reflect the man you are becoming. Eliminate complaint. Abandon sarcasm. Speak not of obstacles, but of solutions. Speak not of problems, but of principles. Let every word be a step towards sovereignty. This is not self-help, it is self-rule. If you want to rise above the masses, you must stop thinking like them. They fear silence, so they drown in noise. They fear discipline, so they worship comfort. They fear effort, so they fantasize instead of act. Do not follow them. You were not made for the herd. You were made to lead, to rise, to shine without apology. But understand this, there is a price, always a price. And the price is your old self, your laziness, your drama, your addictions, your need to be liked, your obsession with entertainment, your addiction to excuses. These must die if your greatness is to live. And the death will be painful. You will feel the pull of your old habits like chains. You will hear the voice of your past begging you to return to mediocrity. You will be tempted to quit when no one applauds. But if you endure, if you hold the line in silence, then the breakthrough will come. Because the universe does not respond to shallow desire. It responds to unwavering resolve. When you declare your aim and align every thought, every action, every emotion with that aim, doors open. People appear, resources emerge, but only when you have proven that you are not here to play. Too many people want to win without bleeding, to conquer without sweat, to shine without building the fire. And so they remain in the middle, neither great nor forgotten, just drifting shadows in a world of echoes. But you who hear these words and feel them in your bones, you are not meant for the middle. You are meant for mastery. And that mastery begins with one sacred decision, that your life will be governed by inner law, not outer chaos. So write your law. Write it with fire. I rise early. I train my mind before the world enters it. I speak only what builds. I move with direction, not emotion. I study daily. I act before I feel ready. I persist without applause. I serve a vision greater than comfort. I own everything, my pain, my choices, my results. I do not wait. I create. I do not hope. I decide. This is how kings think. This is how wealth is born on the pages of a mind that refuses to be average. And once this law is written in your being, let nothing erase it. You will be tested. The moment you commit, the world will test your sincerity. You will face doubt, delay, rejection, discomfort. But these are not punishments, they are initiations. Each one is asking, how bad do you want it? And your response must be action. Always action. You must become unreasonable in your pursuit of excellence. Reasonable men are always adjusting to the world, but the masters bend the world to their mind. They do not adapt to weakness, they transform it. They do not surrender to fear, they transmute it into fire. Let others be realistic. You be relentless. Let others negotiate with their excuses. You command your will. Let others shrink when criticized. You grow sharper, stronger, calmer. Because the world will always try to shrink you to its level. But you must rise and say, Number, I am not here to fit in. I am here to build a new standard. And you build it first in the mind, then in your habits, then in your words, then in your results. The outer world is slow to catch up, but it always does. If you plant oak seeds, do not cry when no tree appears in a week. Water the roots, stand guard, remove weeds, protect the soil. Keep showing up, keep holding the vision. Because wealth is slow magic. It does not arrive in a flash. It arrives quietly, steadily, inevitably to the man who refuses to quit. Every day you show up as a declaration. Every time you act in alignment with your future self, you bring that future closer. Every time you say no to weakness, you say yes to power. Every time you think clearly, move boldly, and trust silently, you are becoming unstoppable. This is the life of the 1%, not just in income, but in identity, in standards, in self-respect. And let me leave you this truth, carved deep into your awareness. No man can own the world until he owns himself. So begin there. Not tomorrow, now, not later, this moment. Because your destiny does not belong to the old version of you. It belongs to the one who decides here, now, to master thought, to detach from noise, to live by inner law, and to rise no matter how long the climb. The wealth you desire is not in the bank, it is in the mirror. It is not a figure, but a frequency. And until you learn to match that frequency with your thoughts, your emotions, and your standards, no amount of effort will suffice. You cannot outwork a belief system built on limitation. You cannot hustle your way around a poor self-image. The mind must be rich before the wallet can follow. What is wealth? Wealth is not merely money. Money is a shadow of wealth. True wealth is command, control, sovereignty over your time, your mind, your energy. It is the ability to create value at will. It is the fruit of mastery, and mastery begins with self. There are those who chase wealth like prey. They pant after it, beg for it, worship it, and it flees. But the one who becomes wealth in thought, who embodies the qualities of value, discipline, vision, and action, he does not chase. He attracts. He summons. He draws all things into alignment with the invisible gravity of his being. You must become such a man. You must ask yourself, what kind of man attracts wealth effortlessly? And then you must become him not in costume, but in character, not in speech, but in spirit. Wealth is not impressed by performance. It answers to vibration. And the vibration of wealth is built in solitude, in repetition, in silence. It is built when no one is watching. When you read while others scroll, when you write while others gossip, when you invest while others spend, when you build while others wait. The man who seeks applause will never hear the voice of power. But the man who seeks truth, who demands excellence from himself in the hidden hours, will awaken one day to a world that reflects his inner supremacy. And hear this well, the climb will be long. It must be. You are not just acquiring things, you are becoming someone new. You are shedding the layers of weakness, of delay, of cowardice. You are burning the bridges to the old self. And that takes time, effort, and intensity. But it is worth it. Every hour of discipline, every moment of silence, every ounce of restraint, it is all worth it because what you are building is not temporary, it is eternal. A self that cannot be taken, a mind that cannot be manipulated, a spirit that cannot be conquered. And so you must hold the vision when the evidence is missing. You must act rich when your pocket is empty. You must think like a king when the world still treats you like a beggar, because that is the test. The fire does not come to destroy you, it comes to reveal what you are made of. Let others quit when the reward is delayed. Let others shrink at the sound of doubt. Let others whimper when the pressure increases. You remain. You stand, you build. Because you know that success is not found in moments of ease, it is forged in the furnace of challenge. And now listen closely to this law of achievement. All results are delayed responses to identity. Who you believe you are shapes what you will tolerate, what you will create, what you will attract. Change the belief, and the world will follow. But as long as you cling to the identity of struggle, of scarcity, of fear, you will repel the very thing you desire. This is why detachment is essential. Detachment from the past, from the wounds, from the story you've told yourself about who you are. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You are not your upbringing, your doubts, your fears. You are what you decide to become consciously, deliberately, daily. And that decision must be absolute. Do not waver. Do not negotiate. Do not half commit. Burn the ships. Say to yourself, there is no plan B. I will become the master of my mind. I will train my emotions. I will discipline my habits. I will raise my standard. I will fulfill the vision within me, or I will die trying. That level of decision is rare, and that is why success is rare. But make no mistake, it is available. It is available to the one who refuses to turn back. From this moment forward, you must treat your thoughts as sacred. You must treat your time as sacred. You must treat your energy as sacred. You must become ruthless with your focus. Kill distraction, starve weakness, feed only that which strengthens your soul. Your mind must become a monastery, not a marketplace. Your thoughts must be trained like an army, not left to wander like children. Your habits must be hardened like steel, not softened by convenience. Because life will offer you only what your standards demand, not what you beg for, not what you hope for, what you demand through discipline, repetition, and unwavering identity. And if you raise your standard, if you refuse to think another weak thought, if you eliminate every trace of victimhood from your vocabulary, you will rise, not overnight, but inevitably. Because this universe obeys order. And the man who lives in order of thought, of action, of belief, commands the chaos around him. Let this now be your creed. I do not react. I respond. I do not fear. I act. I do not shrink. I rise. I do not complain. I create. I do not follow. I lead. I do not doubt. I decide. And you will say it again and again until the world believes it, until the mirror reflects it, until your bank account echoes it, until your environment cannot deny it. This is not motivation. This is not hype. This is the voice of your higher self calling you forward. And you must answer not with applause, not with inspiration, but with decision, with structure, with inner law. Because when the emotion fades, what remains is habit. When the noise dies down, what remains is thought. When the crowds disappear, what remains is you alone with your conscience, your vision, and your fire. So what will you do in the silence? That is the measure of your future. You must build now, not for applause, but for alignment. You must create structure that can withstand chaos. You must train your attention until it obeys like a soldier. You must build daily disciplines as sacred as prayer. You must become unmoved by praise or insult, committed to the mission above all. And when you are tempted to give in, to shrink, to escape, remember this: every time you resist weakness, you invest in greatness. Every morning you rise with purpose. Every night you sleep having honored your code. Every hour you act from vision rather than emotion. You become wealth. You become power. You become the very magnet the world cannot ignore. And then and only then will wealth arrive. Not as a surprise, not as a miracle, but as a consequence. Because wealth is not something you pursue. Wealth is something you become. There will come a day when you look back on this moment, not with regret, not with longing, but with reverence. Because this moment is the day you stopped living at the mercy of your moods. This moment is the day you buried the weak man, the distracted man, the man who waited for permission, who begged for guidance, who feared his own power. And in his place, you carved the one who decides. You do not need a guarantee. You do not need applause. You do not need the world to believe in you. You need only to believe in the power you hold and to command it daily. Success is not found in the extraordinary. It is found in the ordinary, repeated with excellence. It is found in showing up when others sleep, in staying focused when others wander, in being calm when others rage, in moving forward when others pause. The man who becomes unstoppable is not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the most celebrated. He is the one who says, "I will," and never looks back. He is the one who builds systems so strong that emotion cannot destroy them. He is the one who rewires his thoughts until they obey. He does not rise because he is gifted. He rises because he is governed, governed by principle, governed by vision, governed by internal laws that are written so deeply into his being that temptation cannot erase them. This is the new wealth, the wealth of sovereignty, the wealth of thought, the wealth of silence and certainty. And yes, the money will follow. Yes, the results will come, but only when you have become the man worthy of them, not in public, but in private, not in performance, but in practice, not someday, but now. Look around you. The world is starving for leaders who are calm, disciplined, and free, not reactive, not emotional, not followers in disguise. The world is hungry for those who have mastered the hardest war, the war within. Win that war, and you will never beg again. You will never chase again. You will never fear again. You will walk with certainty, not arrogance. You will speak with authority, not volume. You will move with intent, not haste. You will attract wealth not by force, but by vibration. You will wake up each day not wondering who you are, but declaring it. I am the master of my thoughts. I am the commander of my actions. I am the author of my future. And when you live from this place, the world responds. People follow clarity. People invest in order. People are drawn to power, and power begins with self. So build that power. Build it not with hope, but with will. Build it not with comfort, but with consistency. Build it not with emotion, but with structure. Let every morning be a sharpening. Let every challenge be an opportunity. Let every distraction be crushed by the weight of your purpose. You are not here to pass the time. You are here to take dominion, not over others, not over the world, but over yourself. Because the man who rules himself is the one who cannot be ruled. So rise now, not with noise, but with decision. Begin the discipline, begin the structure, begin the life you were born to lead. No more waiting, no more explaining, no more hoping. Only commanding, only choosing, only becoming. You are no longer a seeker. You are the fire. Do not ask the world to open for you. Break the door. Do not wait for opportunity to knock. Forge the handle, twist it, walk through. There are no locked doors to the man who walks with the authority of his own mind. There are no ceilings for the one who has burned the blueprint of mediocrity. There are no limits for the one who has decided, truly decided, that his spirit was not sent here to survive, but to conquer. You have heard the whispers of greatness within you. Now obey them. You have glimpsed the life that waits beyond your fear. Now walk into it. You have felt the ache of potential ignored, buried beneath comfort and delay. Now resurrect it. Because there is no peace in denial. There is no rest in avoidance. There is no fulfillment in half-living. You already know this. You've tasted the bitterness of wasting time, of bending to the noise, of playing small while your soul screamed for more. But that scream is not your enemy. That scream is your summons. The summons to rise, not like a man who hopes, but like a force of nature that demands. So demand. Demand greatness of yourself. Demand it not once, but daily, in your thoughts, in your posture, in your tone, in your silence. Demand it from the moment your eyes open to the second they close. Because the world does not give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand with your standard, your discipline, your decision. And you must raise that standard until it offends the average, until your presence disturbs the mediocre, until your life becomes proof that sovereignty is not an idea, but a choice. You are no longer allowed to think like a man who doubts himself. You are no longer allowed to speak like a man who needs reassurance. You are no longer allowed to live like a man who forgot he was chosen. Because if you keep shrinking, you insult the intelligence that made you. If you keep hiding, you betray the mission that sent you. If you keep postponing your greatness, you abandon the very people whose freedom depends on your example. You must walk now not for applause, not for wealth, but because the ground has waited too long for your footsteps. The earth is ready. The hour is late. The weak have ruled long enough. And you are no longer a candidate for average. You are the storm. You are the voice that says, no more. You are the vibration that cracks false empires. You are the one they will quote when the world asks, where did the shift begin? It began with your decision, your law, your silence, your eyes opening in the morning with steel in your mind, your hands building what others only talk about, your refusal to bow, to pause, to ask for direction. You are the proof that inner mastery is the highest form of wealth, and that once attained, all other wealth bows before it. And so this is not an end, this is a crowning. This is not a finish line. This is the point where you finally stop crawling. You will not plead with fate. You will command it. You will not pray for strength. You will walk in it. You will not talk of dreams. You will build them brick by brick, breath by breath, with such unstoppable clarity that the heavens themselves will kneel and say, there. That is what we meant when we said, let us make man in our image. This is not poetry. This is prophecy, and you are its fulfillment. So rise, shoulders back, jaw set, soul sharpened. Not like a man who wants something, but like a man who knows he is the source of it. You are not here to be remembered. You are here to be feared by weakness, honored by history, and followed by those who thought greatness was a myth until they saw it breathing in your actions. And when they ask what changed, you will not say a word. You will point to the silence the morning you woke up and decided, and you will look them in the eyes, not with pride, but with calmness, and they will feel it in their bones. He has become the law. And from that moment on, nothing will ever be the same.